MLB Free Agency officially open. Shota Imanaga has entered the chat. After the Cubs rejected an option to extend his contract out to 2028, Shota is headed to free agency. Imanaga subsequently declined his $15 million player option for 2026. Well, here's a top look at the top free agents, according to CBSSports.com. Shota comes in at number 8 behind Framber Valdez. And in terms of pitchers, the number 1 player on this list, though, another Cub, Kyle Tucker. Chicago did extend qualifying offers to Tucker and Imanaga on Thursday, but both players likely sporting a different cap come 2026. We're joined now by CBS Sports MLB writer Matt Snyder, and just as we close the chapter on the 2025 season, we're already turning the page to the 2026 season with the start of free agency. And one of the hottest names on the market, Cubs and lefty Shota Imanaga each declined options on Tuesday, now resulting in Imanaga becoming a free agent. But I want to get your take on why did both sides end up opting out?
Yeah, you can actually see it from both sides. From the Cubs' perspective, you're talking about a guy who had a 6.51 ERA in the last month, got knocked around in the playoffs. We always knew that there was going to be, if there was going to be a problem with Imanaga, it was going to be giving up too many fly balls that turn into home runs. He's a fly ball pitcher. You're pitching at Wrigley Field. If the wind blows out, there's going to be a problem with giving up home runs. And it finally came to fruition there down the stretch. He gave up a home run every single outing after mid-August, and then in September it became a big deal. In the playoffs, he gave up some back-breaking home runs. So now you're looking at a 32-year-old. The Cubs would have had to pick up 3 years there to keep him on that current contract. Now we're talking about going through age 35 when you're already worried about the home run issues. From Imanaga's side, it was, hold on. 24-11 with a 3.28 ERA in 2 years, and now you're saying I'm not good enough to keep around? 291 strikeouts against 54 walks. A lot of good underlying numbers there with Imanaga. So I think it was just a matter of the Cubs thinking, we don't want to pay for the decline years, and Imanaga thinking, look, I've earned this here, so I'm just going to go to free agency.
All right, well, now with this being said, how does Chicago now address their rotation in pitching depth this offseason?
Yeah, I think that it's going to be, they're going to throw everything at it here. They're going to look at maybe some undervalued arms in free agency. They're going to look at the trade market. There might be teams like, I'll say the Marlins, who have a surplus of arms, but they need to add some bats. The Cubs have kind of a surplus of bats, especially if you look at the minors, the upper levels of the minors, and guys like Owen Casey, who might be ready for a full-time shot in the majors, something like that. The Cubs could deal from depth there, maybe target an Edward Cabrera, something like that. So I think, let's say Pirates, again, surplus of arms. They need some offense. The Cubs could deal some offense in order to grab somebody like Mitch Keller. Sorry, I didn't say Paul Skeens after I said the Pirates trade, but he's not going anywhere just yet. But I think, and then you could look at free agency as well. And there are some frontline arms in free agency that I think the Cubs are going to kind of at least put their toe in the water on.
Well, meanwhile, there was another Cub that headlined one of the top free agents, and that's Kyle Tucker. I mean, fresh off a 22 home run and 73 RBI performance in his first season with the Cubs and route to a Silver Slugger award. But what's Tucker's market look like, and maybe who are some contenders, or who could maybe potentially land him?
Yeah, I don't think the Cubs are going to be in on that at all. I was looking at, I think there's a scenario where the Dodgers realize Teoscar Hernandez maybe doesn't fit their roster as well defensively. Tucker's a multiple-time Gold Glove winner in right field. I think that the Dodgers might try to trade Teoscar Hernandez and sign Kyle Tucker. Maybe something could work with the Yankees. I know that Tucker is a right fielder and Aaron Judge shouldn't go to center field, but Trent Grisham is maybe heading to free agency if he does not accept that qualifying offer. Cody Bellinger's hitting free agency as well. The Phillies, I think, are a really good fit. Since Bryce Harper moved to first base, now Kyle Schwarber is a free agent. The outfield just isn't very good in Philadelphia, and we know that they like to spend money. We know that the window is still wide open with the Phillies as contenders, and they haven't won the World Series with this group yet. So I think Tucker makes a lot of sense. And then if I'm going to throw a wild card in there, it's the Rangers. I don't think they're going to be in on him, but he did spend a good portion of his career in Texas with the Astros, and they could use a little bit more thunder in that offense. Adolis Garcia has not been very good offensively these last 2 years. So if the Rangers decide they want to spend big money, Tucker's sitting right there, it might make sense.
All right, still yet to be seen. But one thing I know, a lot of people might have something to say about the rich getting richer when you're talking about LA, maybe eyeing a guy like Kyle Tucker. But I mean, when we think about it, after declining his option This gives the Cubs 27 players on that 40-man. That means 13 spots are available. So give me your top 5 players that maybe the Cubs should target in free agency. And I believe you have a designated hitter you were eyeing.
Oh, absolutely. And the Cubs fans will be very, very familiar with this guy because they already had him when the Cubs won the World Series in 2016. Look, the Cubs need more home runs in the offense right now. We know Tucker's 22 home runs are going out. Don't think Pete Crow Armstrong is ever going to hit as many home runs in a half as he did in the first half last season. I don't think you can expect as many in the first half from, say, a Suzuki either. Look at the Cubs in the second half, especially when Tucker was struggling. They were desperate for power. Somebody who brings consistent power and is very familiar with Wrigleyville is Kyle Schwarber. We've seen him on the Cubs a lot. We've seen him on the Cubs. He was more of kind of a cult hero, a very good hitter. But in these last 3 years with the Phillies, he's become one of the best sluggers in all of baseball. Over 50 home runs last year, over 40 the last couple. This is a guy that could really change the middle of that Cubs lineup and make everybody kind of a supporting cast type guy there, all built around Kyle Schwarber in that lineup. And I think it would be really fun to see that. He's not the only one, though. I think because I do think the Phillies are going to do a lot to retain Schwarber. They don't want him to go anywhere. Maybe Alex Bregman could be a fit here. I know Matt Shaw had a very good second half for the Cubs, but it was only a second half. His year as a whole wasn't great, and the Cubs are in a position right now where they just made the playoffs. They're looking to take the next step. They need to compete with the Brewers in the Central. They need to compete with the Dodgers and the Phillies on the NL side to try to win another pennant. And if Shaw looks like he might just be good and not great, that might not cut it right now. Alex Bregman is sitting right there. He's a very good defensive third baseman. He's a very good offensive third baseman. He's been through all the playoff battles with the Astros. Nice fit in this ballpark. Bregman is another one. And if the Cubs decide, hey, maybe we just need a DH, don't want to turn the keys over to Moises Ballesteros just yet. Go to the market and free agency. Pete Alonso, maybe his market bottoms out a little bit. Alonso could bring some thunder to the middle of the Cubs lineup as well. I do not think under any circumstance that the Cubs could sign all 3 of these guys. That would be ridiculous. I would say one of these 3 would be reasonable expectation.
I think those are also expectations that I think Cubs fans would be thrilled to add to their lineups. But now on the other side of this conversation, I mean, I do want to talk a little bit of pitching. Do you see any pitching out there in free agency that might make a lot of sense for the Cubs?
Yeah, and like I said earlier, I do think that they're going to look to the trade market for some pitching, but there are also some arms in free agency that make some sense, and I'm eyeing Ranger Suárez here. The Cubs in recent years have done their homework and have noticed that left-handers fit really, really well in Wrigley Field. We saw it with Imanaga, at least the first year and a half with the Cubs. We've seen it with Matthew Boyd. We saw Justin Steele when he came up before he went down with Tommy John surgery last year. Looking for a left-hander there in free agency, Ranger Suárez could be a very nice fit there. And if they do want to go for a righty, that's more of a little bit of a let's buy low reclamation project, maybe even a 1-year deal to reestablish his value. I think Zac Gallen could be a very nice fit here. We've seen him be a frontline starter for a team that made the World Series with the 2023 Diamondbacks. He started an All-Star game. He's been in Cy Young contention. He was pretty bad last year, which is why maybe he would take one of those 1-year deals that the Cubs did with Cody Bellinger when he was coming off some terrible years with the Dodgers.
Well, nonetheless, I mean, things just getting started, yet to be seen what the Cubbies end up doing. It seems like they have plenty of options out there, but we'll see how things shake out for them. But nonetheless, Matt Snyder, we always appreciate you stopping by with the best. Thank you so much. Take a look at the top 10 free agents, according to CBS Sports. Kyle Tucker, we already talked about him. And what's going on with the Cubs now? Could he be returning back? Maybe not. But Alex Bregman, another option that our Matt Snyder said could actually go to the Cubs and make a lot of sense. Bo Bichette, Framber Valdez, Kyle Schwarber. Hey, maybe there's a connection there, but also could he be going back to the Phillies? Cody Bellinger. I mean, there's plenty of options that are yet to be seen. We'll see how everything takes shape, but the window's open. Free agency's here. We'll have all of the latest on CBSSports.com and, of course, right here on CBS Sports HQ.